Oh, hello. Hi. All right. Camera's there. Look over here, not over here. Hey, y'all. It's me, Laura Burns, and here's my room, my bedroom. Exciting times. I'm very excited. I have a new little tripod to use with my cell phone, and it is much higher quality than the last one. So I'm pumped. All right. So today, I'm getting ready. Where? Here. Sorry. I'm getting ready. And I wanted to talk to you about a topic that is very important and I have had on a list to talk to you about for quite a while now, and I have not made it happen. So I was like, I'm gonna make it happen today. We're gonna talk about this. Um, okay. So I'm just gonna get ready, and I'm not really gonna talk about what I'm doing because it's all the same stuff that I always do. It's just a normal kind of, natural, easy face. Um, but I really want to talk to you about the good fatty, bad fatty, like a dichotomy of existence. And so this may be, you may be like, yeah, like I totally think about this all the time. I know all about it. Or you may be like, what is she even talking about? And that's cool too. Um, in fact, I'm hoping today that we get people who have not really thought critically about this before, because I want you to think critically about the way that we talk about the way we live as fat people, if you're fat, the way we think about fat people, if you're fat or if you're not fat, and where we ascribe value or worthiness and how we do that. Yes. Hey! Oh my gosh, I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, so let's jump into it. I mean, there's a lot. Like unpacking this good fatty, bad fatty stuff, there's like so much. But I just want to start with like, what do I mean by that? In case you're like, what is she even talking about? So when we talk about the good fatty, bad fatty thing, it's like, if you have ever said guilty, or if you've heard other people say, well, I'm fat, but I'm healthy. Or, I'm fat, but I eat salads. Or, like whatever. Like, I'm fat, but I exercise. That's a big one. I'm fat, but I work out. Like anything that's like where you're kind of justifying to other people why you're still like a worthy human being, even though you're fat. Or if when talking about other people, you use those same kind of qualifiers, like to talk about like why something is good or bad, or why someone is good or bad, even if it's not in explicitly those terms, because that's very clear cut, and life is not clear cut like that. But hopefully you get what I'm saying. Um, so if you ever hear that or you see somebody doing that, like that's part of this good fatty, bad fatty thing. And I'm saying, let me just say, I'm saying fatty here, not in a derogatory way. That's just like how the term has evolved over time. Is people have said, fatty, and it's not meant in a disparaging way at all. So please don't take it that way. And I do use the word fat as a descriptor for like my body and other large people's bodies. If you don't use fat, that's totally cool. I'm not saying it in a mean way. I and many people have reclaimed the word, and so it is not negative if we don't mean it to be negative. So, all right. Oh, just to strafe a little bit, I am using the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream in the shade Buttercream. This is the one that I landed on after trying out a bunch of foundations, and it's great. I love it. Okay, so when I was younger, I definitely, without realizing it, and for good reason, totally fell into the like good fatty trap. I've spent my whole life wanting to prove myself, right? So I was in dance a lot. I've always been very active, and I have always been fat, like almost since I was born, like from very, very, very young childhood. And I've always been picked on and bullied for it. I've been made to feel like an other because of it. And so I had this complex about my size and about my abilities and what I could do. And so I spent a lot of my life like, I'm fat, but I can keep up with you. I'm fat, but I can, dance really well. I'm fat, but I'm on the swim team. I'm fat, but I eat this salad. I'm fat, but I'm vegan, whatever. Not that I was vegan for that reason, but like, well, I'm vegan. Not that I said it like that, but like, when you're fat, people assume you just eat like Twinkies and pizza constantly. So it has been validating for me in the past to be able to say, well, actually, I'm a vegan. Or, oh, I don't eat that because whatever. Anyway. Um, anyway, and that's super damaging. But here's the thing is like, it's totally natural to want to like step to that because we spend our whole lives told that like we're disgusting monsters and that we're a drain on society, that we're super unhealthy without people knowing anything about our real health. So of course your gut reaction or your knee-jerk reaction is to be like, but I'm a good fatty, I eat salad, I go to yoga, I like whatever it is, whatever is the thing, I ride my bike to work or to school, but I'm healthy. You see a lot of like, well, being fat isn't okay, but like, at least, as long as you're healthy, then, then I won't like mess too much with you, or I won't push back too hard on you, or like whatever. It's always that thing. It's like, well, it's about your health as long as you're healthy. And so good fatties are the ones that are the healthy ones. They're the able-bodied ones. They don't use a scooter or a cane or a walker. They don't have the knee trouble, the hip pain. They don't have diabetes. They don't have high blood pressure. They don't have any of those things, right? Because then they can say, well, I may be fat, but I don't have diabetes. I may be fat, but whatever. All my blood work is good. So that's a common thing as you see is like people are, quick to say, anyone can be healthy at any size, right? Health at every size, which I'm on board with. But here's the problem. When we start using that as justification for why we should be treated as like good human beings, as worthy, valuable people, that's a problem. Because what about the people who aren't healthy, who have diabetes or high blood pressure or have knee pain or have hip pain or like use a walker or use a scooter at the grocery store? Like how many memes have you seen of people being made fun of because, they're using the scooter? And so that's super problematic if we're only accepting and loving and consider people worthy if they are able-bodied and healthy according to like the mainstream standards of health. Like that's super problematic. There's something wrong there because those people are still worthy and valid too. And so in the body positive community, which I don't know if people here like consider themselves a part of that, but I do, and I see all the time, like especially on Instagram, all the social medias. It's just really hurtful and damaging to the movement in general because what you see being put forward is not, all the folks out there who are fat and XYZ, right? With diabetes, with walkers, using scooters, whatever. You see the ones that are like, I'm fat and like, I totally have, a clean blood results or, like whatever. That's what gets put out there as like justification not to treat us like garbage. And I get it. I understand the impulse. Excuse me. But it's really hard because what about those people? Don't they deserve to be treated well? Don't they deserve to be made to feel like valuable parts of the world? Not to be made fun of, not to be dehumanized? I think so. And so anyway, so this shows up in a lot of places, and I talk about Instagram a lot because I'm on Instagram a lot. Oh, by the way, I'm going to use this new highlighter that I got. If you watched my most recent unboxing, it's the Ipsy. And I'm using a little brush for it. Anyway, so I wanted to come on today. I don't know if y'all have opinions about this, if you maybe, hear some of the stuff that you say or think and the stuff that I'm saying, which is, I'm not like throwing shade. I'm not mad at anyone for it, because I understand why we think the way that we think, but I just want us to talk about it. I want us to examine why we are so quick to say, yeah, but my blood pressure is not high. I don't have diabetes. And like, good, I'm glad that you don't, but like using that as the reasoning to treat us like human beings and to treat us respectfully really undermines the existence of all those people who do have issues that are, on the other side of the spectrum. How much more highlighter can I put on? So it is nice. I don't know. Look, this is the new highlighter. It's pretty good. I'm putting it on dry. I know some people like to wet the brush. So yeah, so that is the like kind of overview, blah, like dump of just like stuff that I'm thinking about in terms of this. Like, so does anyone here feel like that's stuff that they have thought about in the past, or is that how they kind of approach conversations about fatness now? And this is not like shaming or anything. Let's see. We got some comments. Here we go. Let's see. Tiara, you're fat, but please see me as a worthy person. Yeah, so like that's a really good example, right? So she refused to use a scooter after what, you had surgery, is that what you said? Yeah, after your C-section, which is a very traumatizing to the body, very invasive surgery, and you didn't use the scooter because you were afraid that people would make fun of you or give you mean looks or whatever, which is totally valid, because they probably would have, because people are terrible. People are terrible. And I don't know how fat you are, but like, people are awful, like out in public in the world. And so I both am so sad that you felt like you couldn't use this mobility scooter that you needed after surgery because of the fear of whatever community repercussions, but I also 100% understand it. I've never been in that situation, but I have thought to myself, like, what if I needed to use a scooter, and how would that feel, and how would people treat me? And it never went well in my mind. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure one day I'll need to use it for something. Let's see. Hey, Sandy. You've struggled a lot with this. Yeah, exactly. Being fat is only treated okay. And like, let's be real about what okay means. If your blood work is in order, if you don't have all that laundry list of stuff that I kind of keep referring to, and more, and more, and compound that with any kind of like chronic illness, especially invisible illness or disability that exists unrelated to you being fat, or if you're a person of color, or if you're old or young, like whatever, like people, it's like you just keep piling things on and it just gets worse. Yes. So the reason why I want to do this is because I know that so many of us kind of get affected by this trope of like, have to be the good fatty. And I spent so much of my life being that person. You're getting blood work again. It makes you emotional. Yeah. So I haven't had blood work in kind of a hot minute. And I know that I am less, whenever I get it again, it will be worse than it was before, because I'm less like healthy right now. And that's not great. I don't like that, but I also know why that is. And a lot of it is kind of out of my control at the moment. And that sucks, like knowing that, seeing that progression, and like me knowing that is like one layer of whatever emotions about my health. And then on top of that, to think about like outside my own personal bubble, like other people having opinions. First of all, other people shouldn't get to have opinions, but like outside of that, you know that they will. People will have opinions if they know about that. And I will say that, like, being able to think really critically, or having to think really critically about the good fatty versus bad fatty whole culture that we exist in, part of that, part of the reason why I have started to think more critically about it is because it's like, oh, all of a sudden I find myself more in the bad fatty group. I can't always say, oh, my blood work is impeccable. I can't always say, oh, well, I'm like climbing a mountain, you know? I can't climb a mountain like I used to. I tried in October and it was really hard, and I wasn't able to do as much as I used to do. Literally was climbing a mountain and was like, you know what? I'm not going to go as far as I've gone on this particular place before. And that's hard. And part of that is training and like whatever. Like I could get back there, but just like having to accept that things change, and that the way that your body works changes over time as you age, as you develop in, you know, maybe a sickness or whatever, like because of your lifestyle. Maybe you're more sedentary than you used to be. Like things change. You are not the same person as you used to be. Your blood work isn't going to stay the same. Your abilities aren't going to stay the same. And so I think all of us can benefit from having this conversation and thinking about how can we start to think of ourselves in ways that don't rely on these like measures of worthiness, right? So how can we, and I'll speak for myself, how can I start to think of myself as being worthy according to a different list of criteria, and not just reverting to, oh, but I'm really strong. Oh, but I, you know, have a lot of endurance and I can, you know, backpack in the back country, you know, for 14 days, no problem. I can climb this mountain. I can do these things, right? Because I won't always be able to do those things, and I will always be a valid and worthy person. Okay, going back to comments. Yeah, but I eat salads for dinner. Yeah. Cool. I don't care. I don't care if you eat a salad for dinner or if you eat a box of Twinkies. That is your personal decision. You get to make that decision, and there may be a reason. So specifically for me, I like totally forgot that I'm like getting ready. I'm like, ah! So for me, I deal with IBS, and sometimes for large chunks of time, my trigger foods that I eat that trigger flares or symptoms change over time. So there are large chunks of time in my life where I can't eat like raw vegetables really. And so I love salad. Like, I know that's so stupid, but like I love salad. I think there's so many fun, delicious salads you can make. They're fun to prepare. I really like cutting things up. Like I like knife work. The textures in a salad, you can have cold things and hot things and crunchy things and soft things and like so many different flavors. Ugh. I love a bomb salad. Anyway, but I couldn't eat salad for a couple years because it was really bad for me. It was not healthy for me to do so. And during that time, you know, I get trolled a lot. And so people are like, eat a salad. And I'm like, I literally, eating a salad would be so unhealthy for me, but like that's what you get told. Like, I don't know if y'all know, but you know, when you are a person on the internet who puts yourself out there, you get a lot of messages from trolls, and I get told all the time, like, why don't you just eat a salad? And that's like those are the nice messages that I get. And I'm like, oh my God, literally if I ate a salad right now, it would make me sick. Luckily right now I can eat salad, but it's just so funny. Like whoever, I don't remember who said it, that I was just reading their comment was like, you know, oh, but I eat salad at night, like for dinner. Like, okay, cool. I get told so many times just to like eat salads. It's so funny to me. Okay. So Sandy says, you've struggled with some of the body positive movement that's focused on health as a metric for worth. Yeah, and it's really screwed up because, so the body positivity movement exists because of the fat liberation movement that started like in the 70s. And the fat liberation movement did so much work, and then it's really been, that morphed into not just fat liberation, but body positivity. And that has really been morphed into something else and been co-opted now by all the capitalist entities that are using it for their own gain. Companies now use body positivity to sell us things. And it has gotten so far away from fat liberation. And one of the ways that it's gotten far away is that it uses health as a metric for worthiness, like Sandy just said. And that's super screwed up. It's super, like, it's like, yes, it is the opposite of how everything started. Let's see. Yeah, aging. Aging is really also very problematic. Like, not actually aging, but people, the way that we talk about aging and our obsession with staying young, our obsession with looking young when we are not young. And then the standards that are created then for older women, they feel like they have to look, 20 years younger than they are in order to be like beautiful, worthy older women, instead of just looking old, looking the age that they are. And whatever age you consider old to start at, everyone has a different opinion. I kind of feel like it's not until much later in life, like 70, 80, 90. But I have a lot of longevity in my family, and so we have a lot of like old people. My great aunt just passed away a few months ago, and she was 102. Let's see. Shonda, your tiredness was blamed on your weight, but really it was a B12 thing. Oh my God, that is a whole other video talking about the medical industry and fatness and how internalized fat phobia causes the medical industry basically to misdiagnose or, not diagnose fat people all the time. Like, fat people die. It happens all the time. There was an article that came out recently about somebody who had cancer, and the doctors just kept telling her that she needed to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And then she had cancer, and then she died because nobody would diagnose her. She couldn't get treatment. This happens all the time. Like, I'm sure I'm like preaching to the choir here, but like, I go to the doctor and it's like, oh, my arm hurts. Oh, well, it's because you're fat. Oh, have you tried to lose weight? And it's like, okay, well, actually it's this, like, totally normal thing that anyone could get. Being able to advocate for yourself at the doctor is a whole other topic that we should get into sometime. And it's one that I'm still learning. I'm working on that. It's very difficult. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I know that you weren't saying that about the salads yourself. So what happens if you're a bad fatty, right? So I think I fall into the bad fatty category now. I used to be a good fatty, now I'm a bad fatty. So my blood work is not impeccable as it used to be. Used to be great, it is not great anymore. Part of the reason is because, you know how I was saying, like, with my IBS, my trigger foods change over time. For a few years now, my trigger foods have all been things that are considered very healthy. And so the foods that are actually safe for me to eat are the ones that are more just like straight carbohydrates or fattier or whatever. Pasta, bread, rice, like those things are safe for me, so I eat a lot more of them. And so for sure my weight has changed. My blood work, I'm sure, has changed. But I'm actually healthier. Like, my definition of health, my definition versus their definition, I'm actually healthier now. I'm not having as many flares. I don't spend as many days like laying on the floor of the bathroom crying and unable to live my life. I'm able to live my life more, but the way that I eat from the outside looks unhealthy, but I'm actually healthier than I used to be. So it's like, okay, according to this one definition, I suck and I'm a bad fatty, and I'm over here like, okay, but my life is way better. And I'm fatter, but I'm happier. It's like so crazy to me. On paper, it looks one way, and then in reality, for me, it looks another. Let's see, did a comment come in? Yeah, the misdiagnosis is terrifying. You have no hope of being listened to. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Since we're here and it got brought up, I have never been. That's not true. I probably have at least once been to a doctor for some like, hey, this hurts or this is wrong or whatever, and not been told to lose weight. I've never had a conversation with a medical professional about food or, I'm going to call it my diet, not in a diet way, but like, as in we all have a diet that we eat. I've never had a conversation with a medical professional about my diet that didn't include them assuming what I eat instead of asking me what I eat. It's super crazy. Like medical professionals have all these assumptions about fat people, and it's literally been proven. There are studies, there are surveys, there's all these things that talk about the way that medical professionals view fat people. They don't get as good of care. They don't get diagnosed. They're not taken seriously. They are assumed to be non-compliant even before the person has a opportunity to either be compliant or not. I just saw something recently that said, it was like anecdotes from people who work in the medical profession, and they were talking about fat people, and they said that they call fat people Hondas. And now I can't remember, did anyone else see that? I don't remember what that stood for, but it was an acronym, and it was Honda or Hondas. I don't remember. Yeah, Tira, I'm the same way. It's very difficult to advocate for yourself at the doctor because you get like, oh, like you're in it, and it's really hard in the moment to be like, okay, wait, I need you to take me seriously. I need you to listen to what I'm saying. I wish that I had somebody to go and advocate for me. I like that I basically forgot that I was putting on makeup. Does anyone else have to pull your eyelid out to smooth out your eyelid wrinkles? Yeah, it's horrifying. And there's a reason why, fat people don't go to the doctor. It's because they know that they're going to be treated like shit. And so why would they go put themselves in that situation when they know they're going to be treated poorly? So then people just suffer and deal with whatever they're dealing with instead of seeking the medical help that a thin person would just go to the doctor and have it dealt with. Honda, hypertensive, obese, non-compliant, diabetic adult. Thank you. Yeah. So that's what they see a fat patient and they assume these things about them. Whether or not it's true, they've already decided these things about you. Yeah, so like diabetes is like the one, everyone just assumes that you have it. So I'm not diabetic yet. I don't know. It runs in my family, so I'll probably get it. And when I do, I'm sure it'll be blamed on my weight. Despite the fact that we have a huge family history of diabetes, like everybody got it, pretty much. Like, it's so ridiculous to me. Oh, thank you. So never watch a Get Ready With Me, like, to learn anything about makeup. I poorly apply makeup, but thank you very much. Let's see. Melissa, you're 63 and quit smoking. Oh, so they used to lecture you about smoking and now they lecture you about your weight. Not surprised, I'm sorry to say. All right, let me put some lips on. Oh my God, y'all. So yeah, I will continue to be a bad fatty, which is fine. Like, I don't actually think I'm bad, just to clarify. I'm just saying, like, that's how the world sees me. based on these, characteristics that we talk about, these like mainstream definitions of health and wellness. Like a thin person can just go to the doctor and they'll be like, "Oh, why are you here? How can we help you?" Like actually listening to them and like wanting to help them. A fat person goes to the doctor and it's like, "Oh, have you tried to lose weight?" Hold on, I can't talk and do this. Okay, I did it. Yes, and so good fatty, bad fatty, just something to think about. I don't think that this conversation is gonna like change the world, but I think that if the 11 people that are here right now, and then anyone else who watches this later, like if what we can take away from it is just a critical analysis of how we look at ourselves and how we justify our worthiness, like that's enough. Like just to make a difference in these very small ways. If you can just take this away, if I can look at myself and say, number one, why do I feel like I have to justify my worthiness? We're all human beings, therefore we're all worthy. And when I start doing that, what am I using to justify it? What is that criteria? And if it's health, if it's mobility, if it's whatever, like examine that and find other things to base your worthiness on. You're a compassionate person, you're loving, you're smart, you're strong, you're, emotionally available to the loved ones in your life, like whatever it is, like finding other things to base our worthiness, our sense of self, our sense of being valuable in this world, our worthiness of respect and love. And then if you think about your body, like I talk about celebrating your body or honoring it as it is in this moment. If the way that you honor it is to say, oh, but I am healthy, cool, but also expand that out, like instead of like just praising your blood work, because your blood work's not always going to be impeccable. Instead of just praising your blood work, think about my heart. What is my heart doing? My heart is beating, it's always pumping, I don't have to think about it, it takes care of me. My lungs are breathing, they're always making sure that air is flowing in and out and I'm alive. Whatever. The muscles in your legs, they're carrying you around, they're stretching, they're flexing, the joy of like feeling that good stretch in your muscles, like whatever, like finding those things instead of just like, well, I don't have diabetes. Because you know what? Then if you get diabetes, you're going to feel so worse. I mean, you're going to probably feel bad about it because that's what we're trained to do, but you're going to feel worse, Like I'll speak for myself. Like when I deal with like PCOS stuff, if I let myself go down the super negative track, which is like irrational, but totally like the way that we think, I start to blame my body. It's not my body's fault that I have PCOS. I didn't cause this. It happened. It happens to 1 in 5 women in the United States. I don't know what the world statistics are, but like it happens to so many people. So many people get PCOS. And I like to say people. The statistic I know is about women, so I say that. But people with PCOS, because people other than women have ovaries and have PCOS. But anyway, if I let myself go down that negative route, I can super start to blame my body, and then I start to feel like really down about it. So if that's where I've been basing my feelings of worthiness, is like, oh, well, I don't have these things. I don't have these, diseases, or whatever, my blood work is really good, or, but I eat a salad or whatever. What happens when you can't eat a salad? What happens when you get that disease or whatever? So all I'm saying, and I know that I'm very like long-winded and annoying, but all I'm saying is that if we can find other things to base our self-worth on. It helps because we're all aging, our bodies change over time. If you're like 21 and watching this, like, you'll see. But yeah, that's all I mean. If we can take something away, then this is worth it. If one person can take something away from this discussion, and this is just like the beginning of a conversation, I hope that it's something that we think about more and discuss more. Let's see. Traits that have nothing to do with appearance. Facing a diabetes diagnosis, and it's definitely messing with your sense of self-worth. Yes, I 100% understand that. Like, oh my God, like I feel that in my bones. And I hope for you that you really focus on finding that sense of self-worth in areas that are not tied to being disease-free, being, meeting those mainstream standards of health. And know that you are so worthy and so important. I'm like tearing up. Oh, you're so worthy and so important and so valuable. And to feel worthless or to feel bad about yourself because of these things that affect so many people, and that are in many cases inevitable, it breaks my heart. And we are so much better than that, and we are worth so much more than a diagnosis in your medical chart. Oh my God. I'm reading Brett's. There's one advantage of trying to justify ourselves is that we often excel to prove ourselves. That's unhealthy and wrong, but inadvertently benefits us. Well, I mean, yes, but also no. Like, so sometimes we excel to prove ourselves, but we push ourselves past what is healthy for us. Like, just speaking for myself, I know that that wouldn't always be the case, but I think that it can be the case. I think it's dangerous to use that argument. I know that I have hurt myself in the past because I was pushing myself to prove myself. And that it may have made me better at something, but in the long term, it was not beneficial to my life or to my health. Somebody's cutting onions in here. All right, well, I think that's a good place to wrap this up because I'm done putting on makeup. I'm gonna go film a trunk club video now. And I want to get it filmed today before I have to go leave to teach class. So I'm gonna go. Here's my hair update. Not styled at all. I washed it last night. I slept on it. I think that it looks cute even when I don't style it. I'm very happy with my haircut still. I haven't styled it in probably a week. So in the beginning, I kind of felt like I had to style it for it to like look really good. But I think now I'm used to it and it looks good without all the styling. I mean, it looks better with cat ears, let's be real. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, so here's my, oh, I didn't do my eyebrows. Hold on. Gotta put my eyebrows on. I love it. I say that, but I use like the Glossier Boy Brow, which like makes almost no difference. And I did get a new one. It's so tiny. There we go. I wish that they made a larger size, although I don't put on makeup every day, so I probably don't need a bigger size. Oh, I just got some shit. Okay, I'm gonna put on, oh my God, why is there so much on this wand? I'm used to my almost empty tube. This one has a lot in it. Look. Now it's all jacked up. Help. What do you guys use for your eyebrows? I've gone through quite a few things. And especially for my tails here, which are almost non-existent, I really need something in there. The tail on this side is better. Okay. You're like, we can't see a difference. Yay! All right, so now I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for being here and for discussing this with me. I've wanted to talk about it for a long time. This channel kind of got away from me and just became like all clothes all the time. Ooh, I'm dropping stuff. And I realized that the other day, and I was like, I haven't been really kind of digging into the body positive stuff lately. So I would like to be doing more of that. If there's any topics that y'all want to talk about, I would love to hear them. You can comment them. You can put them in the Facebook group. Oh, okay. So before we all go, I just want to announce that I, after many requests to do so, have made a Patreon page. Yeah. Oh, here, jazz hands. Welcome to my channel. We're doing it at the end. So I've had a number of requests to make a Patreon page so that people could support me and support the work that I'm doing both here on YouTube and on Instagram and in real life. And so I did, and it exists, and there's a link to it. Well, there will be a link to it in the description box below. If you would like to come and support me, you can do that for as low as $2 a month. $2 a month. That's very low. Or you can give me $50 a month. Whatevs. If you pledge at the lowest level, which is $2 a month, and you can get access to our community on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It has over 300 people in it, and it was a free group, but I decided to make it a patrons only, extra special group for the third eye chakra level Patreon patrons. And I'm going to be doing more stuff in the group, basically. And so if you're interested, if you want to support, check the link below in the description box when I put it in there. And just look at the page and decide if you would like to do that or not. And if not, totally cool. I'm still going to be making all the stuff that I always make here on YouTube, doing the work on Instagram. This is just a way that if you feel so moved, and would like to support me, you can do so. This is my job. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a body love coach. I make these videos. That's my job. I don't make a lot of money. So your $2 a month would be welcome. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to go. Did something come in? Oh, yeah, unboxing. Oh, Sandy, extra jazz hands. Oh. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank y'all for being here. I really do appreciate the community that we're building here, the discussions that we're having. Everyone's participation and engagement is wonderful. Have a great day, and know that I'm sending you lots of love and support in case you're not feeling it from other directions today. I'm sending it to you, and I'll see you next time.